Just be sincere about your life and see what happens. You know? We had no idea when we grew up and went to high school or maybe college that we would end up being a Hare Krishna Vrindavan and a Harinam party. I don't think so. Not in your mind. But somehow Krishna gave that fortune. So that's a causeless thing. We don't know how it happened. And similarly, the Rag Bhakti, if it comes, it comes. You know, you can have many gurus that are totally into Rag Bhakti, but their disciples aren't into Rag Bhakti. Maybe a guru is willing that they take up Rag Bhakti, but Krishna's not, it's like not letting them have that Rag. It's not a given, okay, I have a Raganuga Bhakta. Like Anantadasa, he's a Raganuga Bhakta, famous Acharya. And so many, most of his disciples have the Siddha Pranali, but how many are seriously doing anything? Not so many. Because he was free, liberal, and they asked for it, and he gave it. There was disciples, but they really didn't have greed. Just imitative. Keep up with the Joneses. Other questions? About 15 minutes. I didn't know. More? Oh, we didn't. You have a question? No.
You have something? I mean, I have something practical. I was just wondering about the system of the Goswamis, like in the temples of the Goswamis. Because they're also Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So, but the system they had is like, for example, on the altar, only the family is going on the altar. I'm not like objecting, but I'm just wondering about the system. If that's given by the Goswamis, how is it like that?
Well, yeah, you're asking a question about the modern day puja at the Saptalaya, Gaudiya Vaishnava Saptalaya Mandir. The temples of the seven Goswamis, or Loknath Goswami. Loknath Goswami is the seventh Goswami. So Saptalaya means the places, 7 places. Goswami Saptalaya Mandir. So Loknath Goswami is the 7th Goswami. And the 8th Goswami is Krishna's Kaviraj. Loknath Goswami established the worship of Radha Vinod. And the original deity of Vinodi Lal is in Jaipur, on the first floor, from the ground level nearby the city palace, right around the corner from Radha Damodar Mandir, Radha Vinodi Lal. The original deity is Loknath Goswami. So the question is being asked: how is it that in most of the Goswami temples, all the pujas being done by Bengali and or Brijvasi families, was it established like this by the 6 Goswamis, or did this come later? So, I don't know exactly all the history, but what I can say is that, of course, when the puja was started by Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Radharaman. They were all Vairagis. They were not married, so they have no children. And their disciples, most of their disciples were sannyasis and Vairagis. Some Grihastas also. So somewhere, in the beginning, of course, Sanatana Goswami was doing the puja. He was offering bhati to Madan Gopal, just some dried flour, rolled into a ball with some Yamuna water, then get some dry sticks and make some fire and throw the wheat ball, roasted wheat ball, and it's got all black ashes on it because you drop it right in the middle of the burning wood and when it's ashes, and it slowly cooks like an oven. And brush off that, tulsi leaf, ding ding ding, and a little cup of Yamuna water next to it. So this is the boga for Madan Gopal. So not very hi-fi standards. So somewhere along the line they initiated some grihastas, and the histories are there in different temples. So the Goswamis themselves turned the puja over to Grihastha families, because Grihasthas, they tend to stay in one place, and so the Thakurji becomes part of the family. The Grihasthas are responsible, and it's a way of life. And moreover, each of these 7 temples is not only a mandir with some rooms, and rooms for the pujaris and rooms for the Sevites and guests or whatnot, but there's vast land that comes with each of these temples. 500 bighas, 1,000 bighas, and markets, Gopinath Bazaar, whole bazaar in Vrindavan called Gopinath Bazaar. All those shops belong to the Gopinath Mandir. So they get rent from those shops. So there was income they could produce. There was a source of income for the Thakurjis because they had vast land and fixed deposits and whatnot. So all that was handed to responsible Grihastha disciples of the different Goswamis to carry on the puja. So then their descendants, naturally, father to son to father to son. So it's hereditary rights that they continue to this day over hundreds of years doing the puja of Radharaman or Radha Govindaji. Govindaji is all Bengalis and Gopinath is all Bengalis. Sham Sundar is all from devotees from Orissa, mostly Orissa. Shamananda's disciples. And Madan Mohan is all Bengalis. And Gokulananda is not a family. That's some Gokulananda puja there. And Vishnu's deity, Radha Vinod and Radha Gokulananda. And Mahaprabhu, they're being worshipped by some Gaudiya Math sannyasis or Babajis or whatever. That's not family worship. But Radha Damodar and most all the temples. So that's how it came down like that. No one else does puja except their sons that are trained. And then they may hire some other assistant pujaris in some of the temples that come in and do the seva. In Radharaman, it's all the families. They don't hire anyone. I know in Radha Damodar, they hire different Brahmins to cook for Thakurji and even do puja sometimes in artiks. And the sons are actually doing more management than the daily puja. But the Sevite and the Mahant of the temple is some family person, a descendant of the same family that's been doing puja there for 400 years, 300 years. That's how it goes. So it's good in one sense, consistent. It's like Jagannath Mandir, the pujaris there are taking care of Jagannath. Like one pujari, there's 1,000 Sevites for Jagannath. One pujari's seva is to grind chandan every day. And he gets a monthly pay from the government or the temple trust to do that. And he is grinding chandan and he's training his son. And they have their own free house and they get enough money to live and free food, whatever. So he learns how to grind chandan from his father, exactly the way Jagannath likes it. So these family Sevites are very expert. Once, about 1,400 years ago or so, Ramanujacharya, he took control. Ramanujacharya or Shankar, I forget. I think it was Shankar. Shankaracharya. Or Ramanuja, I'm not sure, maybe Ramanuja. He took charge of the Jagannath temple in terms of all the puja, so he wanted to bring in proper Paka Brahmins to upgrade the standard of Jagannath to the proper South Indian system of puja. Because the puja standards in Jagannath, although they have their own tradition, they're not of the same standard as South India. So he wanted to change the standard and quote-unquote upgrade it. So he brought in these expert pujaris and expert how to make shringar and how to exactly cook and all according to Vedic recipes and whatnot. And then Jagannath was very unhappy. And then he didn't like the cooks, all those new pujaris and cooks that came from South India. He didn't like them. So one night while Ramanuja was sleeping, and then Jagannath picked up Ramanuja and threw him down to Kuramakshetra. He threw him down to South India and said, I don't want you to go. So then next day the king sent all the Brahmins down to South India and brought back all Jagannath's family. So the Jagannath Pandas and Sevites and the Daityapatis and all the Brahmins and Pandas, They've been serving Jagannath just the way he likes it, and cooking just the way he likes it, for hundreds and hundreds of years. So this is the will of Krishna, that he likes things done in a certain way by a certain group of people. Interesting question. Fun to talk about. History.